Hey, welcome back to the garage, everyone. All right, if you recall my most recent video, the fuel injection nozzles that I purchased, well, they were defective, so I decided not to install them. However, I did not take a look at cylinders 3, 4, and 5, specifically the prechambers. I really want to pull those out of there and see if there's any holes in them, see if there's any carbon on them, just see what they look like in general. So stay tuned and we'll dig a little deeper into our 300 SD OM617. All right, you knew we couldn't leave well enough alone, now didn't you? Glow plugs have been removed. We've already pulled the injector and the collar and the glow plug and all that kind of mundane stuff. All right, let's see what number 3 looks like. All right, let's see what we have here. Looks like a a 617/03 part number with the bigger hole. And the ball looks pretty good down in there. No damage there. We have this, the tips of these things are kind of white. I'm going to clean that up a little bit with some sandpaper and see what we have. We'll see if that metal has been degraded at all. Let's go ahead and get our prechamber back in the motor here. First thing you want to do is insert your new sealing ring. All right, and of course that little bump there will tell you which way it goes. The glow plug hole has to line up properly. There we go. A little tap with a socket on an extension. We'll send it on home. Now let's get the collar back in place. And we cleaned that up with the wire wheel. That looks pretty good. We'll get the collar installed on our tool. This is a very high quality tool, by the way. It's really nice. Okay, what's next? Well, I guess we'll put the injector back in. So I'll do that off camera and then we'll move over to number 4. All right, we're ready to pull number 4 out. All right, the threads on that one were a little bit more problematic. I needed a wrench for that. All right, let's see what we have here. More white accumulation. I'm gonna assume that's normal. That is a crazy wild guess. I have no idea. And it is the 617/03 version. Apparently 1984 had the 03 version of the pre-chambers. All right, let's take this over to the drill press and the wire brush and clean it up. All right, so we got number 4 all cleaned up on the drill press. That ball looks a little weird down in there. Let me go get a flashlight and shine down in there and do some further inspection. The tip looks good. All the corrosion and stuff, the white deposits came off, and I cleaned up the outside as well, and I cleaned the inside with some brake clean. Okay, no worries on that. That was just a trick of the light. Got a little carbon on it, but it looks good down in there. All right, let's get it back in the engine. All right, it's a little fiddly. I'm going to do this off camera and get it lined up properly for the glow plug hole. All right, let's get the collar tightened down here. We'll get number 4 buttoned up, and then next thing you'll see is us pulling out number 5 prechamber. All right, working on number 5. Let's get our prechamber tool in place. You don't really have to tighten the middle section down. I did that on number 1 simply because I had never done it before. So you just need to hand tighten it. It's fine. I believe that was the tightest one yet. All right, that was a little worrying. This collar was quite difficult to remove, actually, which leads me to believe that we need to do an initial inspection of the threads. I don't know, it seems to be okay. It may have been just additional debris around the hole that got in our way. But I have another collar. I have a new one that I bought, so we'll clean this one up and see whether or not we're going to reuse it. If not, we'll put the new one in. All right, glow plugs out. It is now time to get the slide hammer in there and get number 5 prechamber out of the engine. Where is my wrench? There it is. All right, this is Monday, and I need to tighten this thing down so I can get this out of here. Stand by. All right, let's take a look here. See what we have. I don't see any holes that have been burnt out. But I do see a rather odd carbon buildup here on the tip. It's probably inconsequential. Probably doesn't matter at all. All right, let's get this guy cleaned up. All right, number 5 cleaned up, looking pretty good. Got that carbon buildup off the tip there. I don't see any evidence that this prechamber was in danger of being burnt out or anything. And down inside there looks pretty good. Got it cleaned up pretty nice. 617/03. So apparently the 03 and 04 may or may not have a smaller or larger hole down in there. So I think it just depends on the run. I really don't know that it matters a whole lot. That spare that I put in the engine to replace the one that had the big gouge in it, it had the smaller hole, but I'm not entirely sure that matters. So anyway, all right, let's get this thing back together. All right, got a new sealing ring in place here. Get our prechamber lined up and get that in place. All right, let me clean up the collar and get that in next. All right, taking a look at the collar here. I cleaned it up on the wire wheel. Looking at these threads, they look a little rounded. I don't know if anybody's had this out of this engine before, but I don't know. It was, it was a little more difficult to get out. Well, it was actually a lot more difficult than the rest of them. The rest of them just sort of fell out. And this one obviously is brand new. So let's go with the new one. I think I see why the old one was hard to get out. Oh, it looks to me like there's a little bit of interference right here. I'm not sure what that's about. Could be just my imagination. Let's go for broke. Let's get it in there. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Just line it up. There we go. It's tight too. All right, let me get the socket wrench. Hey, it goes in pretty good once you get a wrench on it. All right, got our collar tightened down. Up next is our fuel injector. And I'm going to get this tightened down to the appropriate setting. I don't have to tell you guys what it is, do I? And a little more. Doesn't hurt to get the injectors a little tighter than the factory spec. So 75 Newton meters plus a smidgen more. All right, up next I'm going to reconnect all the diesel fuel lines and the throttle linkage and all that kind of boring stuff, and then we're going to fire this thing up. Folks, we're back in business, jittering away. Welcome to my world. That's the way this engine idles. I'm not too sure what causes it, to be perfectly honest, so I'm going to keep on investigating, however. Appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you'd like to be notified whenever I release a new video. Don't forget to click that little bell down below. You guys have a good one, and remember to enjoy driving your classic shaky Mercedes.